Well, good morning and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And this is a new year of new possibility for each one of us. What we're going to experience together is not just the turning of a page in a calendar and not just a celebration that we all share together, but a real new energy, a new vibration, a new possibility. It's no accident that we all gather together on a day like this, because we can take this energy, gather it together, and use it to move us forward into this new year. But it means we have to start with a clean slate, and that's why we have white stones. That's why you were given this. This is your clean slate, upon which you will receive a word, some kind of blessing that will move you forward in this new year. So I'm just going to ask you to be open to this possibility in a lighthearted way. Don't take it too seriously. Don't get all, performance anxiety about it. Just kind of let it be, because it's a playful attitude. You're playing in the fields of life. You're enjoying this, and it's just ready to embark on a new year, a new experience in life. And it means that we have to bring something to it. This isn't just a passive experience. And what we're going to be celebrating together is not just getting a word or a name or a phrase, but actually creating a new energy, a new vibration, a new something that will move us into a new experience of life. And so what I want to invite you to do is to just set aside your need, your performance anxiety, your need to make everything perfect and to get everything, just right, and realize that with a playful attitude of life, you're really going to enjoy this. That this is just you at play in the field of life, and that you can have a wonderful experience of enjoyment and pleasure and satisfaction, and it could be a win for you. It could be a lot of fun for you. Each of us has received a tile, and the tile represents the white stone. And in Revelations it says, "Let anyone who has an ear listen to what the Spirit is saying to the churches. To everyone who overcomes, I will give some hidden manna, daily bread, and I will give a white stone. And on the white stone is written a new name that no one knows except for the one who has received it." Now there's a lot to this, and the first thing is that in the days of Jesus, that whenever a person was released from prison or when they were released from slavery, they received a white stone and they were given a new name, and this was their get out of jail free card. This was their ticket that they would use to express that they had a new identity. They no longer were defined by their old limited identity. I am no longer defined by my old limited identity. Together? I am no longer defined by my old limited identity. And just kind of take that in. Feel it. Become aware of it. Realize that you aren't that person that brought you into this room anymore. A lot of the fears, a lot of limitations that brought you here served a purpose. Maybe they buffered things. Maybe they kept you seemingly safe. And maybe on a temporary basis it had some function. But now you can let them go. You don't need these things any longer. You don't need to hold on to them any longer. You can let them go. I can let them go. Together. I can let them go. And I let it go. Together. And I let it go. So, what is this manna, this something that is given to the person who has overcome? You have overcome. This last year has been a year of overcoming, whether or not you define it as a good year or a bad year, a year of triumph or a year of defeat. It is all something that has moved you forward. I had a friend of mine, one of my closest friends, who would every New Year's Day not only rate the year by giving it a letter grade, but go back over the last 10, 15 years and give it a letter grade. And then one day he came to me and he said, I don't do that anymore. You know why? I said, why? He says, because I realized that the years that I gave low grades to actually had the biggest positive benefit on my life. And the ones that I thought were so great, not so much. So we don't know. So why not let go? Why not play? Why not receive a word that isn't what you expected or what you wanted? Lynn will talk a little more about that, but sometimes when people, one woman, she overcame stage 4 cancer and had incredible healings and a complete change in her life, and her word before she had been diagnosed was the letter L, like the Laverne and Shirley. The L. But her name was Lucy, but she knew it wasn't just her name. Well, she realized it was live because she overcame that. Love, she became somebody who was filled with friendship in her life. When she first called me, she was calling to donate her house to the church because she knew she was going to die. And I said, let's go to Plan B here. Let's work on this. I didn't know who she was. She was, a new person in the church. And she never did leave that house to that church. What she did instead was she made an overcoming. Live, love, and then laugh. And laugh. Make it lighter. Make it lighter. Make it lighter. I make it lighter. I make it lighter. I make it lighter. Together. I make it lighter. I make it lighter. I make it lighter. So just kind of think about it. What can you do right here, right now, to just open yourself up? Just kind of open yourself up. Just decide, I'm open. Now, there's some other things in this quote from Revelations, and the next one is about the hidden manna. The hidden manna was daily bread. That was the sustenance that showed up on the ground when the children of Israel, led by Moses, went for 40 years through the desert. And every morning it would show up, but if they tried to gather it up in baskets and keep it for the next day, it would just rot. It would just disappear. The daily bread is the now moment. This moment is one day at a time. And it's the only spiritual moment there is. And so manna is that daily bread. It's the word that was used in the Lord's Prayer. It's that which gives us spiritual fulfillment. So you're going to get all the energy, all the vibration, all the guidance, and all the backup you need to move into this new year. I get all I need to move into this new year together. I get all I need to move into this new year. But here we go. There's a white stone. It says, I will give a white stone upon which is written a new name that no one else knows except for the one who receives it. This is something that starts you over. This is a new identity. This is something that's going to make things new for you. And I've already, in the first service, had wonderful experiences, thoughts, revelations. You're going to have them too. They may roll out. Not during this hour, but maybe when you go home. Maybe, as Lynn will share with you, it'll happen weeks and months later. But you've conditioned your mind to become still enough to allow a pebble, the white stone word, to ripple out and have an effect. And it will. Now, Lynn is the person who has led the white stone in churches where we've served for the last 15 years. And what she does is she sets up the energy and creates a nurturing environment for you to receive your white stone. And it's kind of like if you go to Disney World and they put you in the car for the ride and they pull down the bar and you know you're going to be safe, you know you're going to go through it, and you know you're going to end up right where you need to be. Well, Lynn is the person who's putting down the bar. She's getting you ready for this ride, and the ride will take you exactly where you need. So I'd like to invite Lynn to come up.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Ready for that ride?
Oh, yeah.
You're already on it. I'm not doing anything. I'm just standing up here and passing the time while your white stone trickles down into your consciousness, and actually it's already planted in there. After the first service, when Greg had led that meditation about that pebble being dropped into us and rippling out, I was sitting during our last song and looking at this banner and just visualizing that, such a beautiful visualization of that pebble being right inside of our hearts, and that burst, that ripple effect going out and blessing our new year already. So it's already blessed. 2015 is already set up for you, and your job is to take on a new definition of faith. You know, faith is something that has been talked about for so many years, for so long, and you know, the substance of things hoped for, blah, 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 blah. But I'm going to give you a new definition of faith for this year. Assume support. Assume support. Assume you're supported. When something comes up for you and it's a difficulty and you don't know what to do, but you are doing your step of writing something down, journaling about it, saying, here's my difficulty, here are my options, here's something I can do about it, here's what I have no control over about it. But in the midst of all of that process, assume trust. Feel that support, feel that faith, feel that pebble of love from the universe right there in the center of your heart. Matter of fact, put your hand on your heart right now and just feel that. Feel that. Feel that closeness. Feel that oneness. If your heart's beating, it's there. It's right there. Assume support. Assume it's always, always there for you. Not just on Sundays when we're talking about it and bringing it into our awareness, but any time during the week, put your hand right there and just say, okay, I don't know what's going to happen here, but I'm going to assume support and do what is mine to do. I assume support and I do what is mine to do. Together?
I assume support and I do what is mine to do.
You know, when I was in college, I lived with this amazing woman for 2 years. My roommate, she and I had lots of fun together, but one thing I remember her saying often, we'd be complaining about something, or we'd hear about somebody else complaining about something, and she would put on her mother's voice, right, and she would say, "The Lord helps those who help themselves." You know, her mom, she grew up in a town in Iowa of 200 people, right? She's a hardworking farmer lady, just amazing, amazing, incredible woman, and so we would kind of laugh about that, but we knew it was true, too. My mother, who was a Unity student, her way of saying that to us when I was growing up was, "Lynn, use your God mind. Lynn, use your God mind." Usually she was saying that out of frustration because I was doing something honoring. So you can imagine how many times I must have heard that, to have it ingrained in my mind like that. But Lynn, use your God mind. What did that mean? Think it through. Think it through. You got something that you're feeling squirrely about? Think it through. Write it down. Get it out of your head. Get it out of your head. Get it out of your head. You know, we want things so fast now. We want it fast, 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 fast. And it doesn't, the good things don't happen fast, right? The good things don't happen fast, so we take a breath, take a step back, write it out, feel it out, ask within ourselves, what do I need to do here? There's a beautiful process with all those tools and papers next to the door to Fellowship Hall there's one called the question and answer process. It's a beautiful process for helping you think it through. What do I need to know about, fill in the blank, what do I need to know about that person at work I've been complaining about for 6 months? What do I need to know about this situation where I just feel stuck? I feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over again. What do I need to know about this? Help yourself. And somebody after the second service said, I add a statement to that. I say, the Lord helps those who help themselves, and so do I. That's a pretty good boundary, right? I'll help you, but you gotta do your part too. And that's true for us. We have to do our part. You know, my very first white stone ceremony, I never experienced it before I was in a position of leading it. So I had a lot of research to do and energy building to do. And so I got really excited about it. And I thought, oh, this is going to be amazing. We had just moved from Albuquerque, New Mexico to Overland Park, Kansas. And we moved to a community where our spiritual teacher was, and there were people who had the same commitment to their spiritual growth that Greg and I do, and we were so excited about moving there. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to have friends. You know, Albuquerque is an amazing place, but it's a little isolating, right? I'm going to have friends, I'm going to, you know, it's going to be so much fun, and it's going to be great. And I got there, and, you know, met these people, and it was wonderful. So I'm leading this white stone ceremony, and the word that comes to me was friend. It's like, well, I already knew that, though. Duh. You know, where's my enlightenment, prosperity, amazing, super success? You know, I wasn't that flashy at all. It was friend. It's like, oh, really? I was so excited about the ceremony, and that's it? That's all you got? So I wrote it down because I was obedient, right? So I wrote it down, and I went home and I stuck it in my sock drawer. And I forgot about it for 10 months. Somebody else, after the first service, said, I stick mine in my sock drawer too, but I see it every time I open my sock drawer. I said, you must not have buried it like I did. So that worked for you. So anyway, so it was it was the beginning of November when Greg and I were talking about the next White Stone ceremony and thinking, oh my gosh, oh yeah, what was my word? I forgot what my word was. So I dug in my sock drawer and I found my word and I'm like, friend. How did that show? That didn't really show up for me. Matter of fact, it was kind of disappointing. I mean, nobody called me to go to the movies. Nobody called me for coffee. Nobody called me for lunch. I mean, what's wrong with these people? Yeah, it's a little embarrassing to say that. That's where I was at in a nutshell. So what I realized after feeling sorry for myself for a couple of days was that I have to do my part. When have I reached out to anybody? Ouch. Yeah, I hadn't. When had I opened myself up and been vulnerable with some of these people that we were sharing meditations with and sharing our spiritual process with? But only sharing it a little bit, right? Not enough to make that deeper connection that I was looking for in a friend. I had to do my part. I had to do my part. And I can say, yeah, giving myself a little credit here, maybe those 10 months I was working my way up to being willing to do that. I'll give myself that, but yeah. So I took steps and I was able to open up and to deepen the connection that I had with my spiritual family. And we still meet with them on online video to meditate once a week, and soon it'll be twice a week. I'm so blessed. I feel so blessed. But what if I hadn't? What if I hadn't done my part? I'd be like, why isn't anybody calling me 15 years later after that first white? What? Where's my friends? Where's my coffee date? Right? Sometimes we gotta take some action. Gotta take some action. But it wasn't blind action. It was like, okay, God, what am I supposed to do? You've shown me what I need to see. You've shown me myself and this part of myself that hasn't been open to this white stone blessing. What do I need to do? What's my part? What's my part? And it wasn't that I had to do anything. There were some actions to take of reaching out. But the interaction was be yourself. Be yourself. And share that self. And every spiritual awakening that we make, because that's what this is all about, every spiritual awakening we make is about knowing ourselves, being ourselves, sharing that self with others, but sharing that self with ourselves. Loving, appreciating that self that we are. So I invite you to take your white stone in your hands, blessing it with your energy, your consciousness, your vibration that has already been implanted within you. That pebble is right there in the center of your heart, blessing you, and it will grow and ripple forth through this new year. So the only thing we're going to do is we're going to hold that stone and just let that ripple move through us. And we open our minds and our hearts to a word coming forth that articulates that spiritual movement this year, for 2015. Don't worry if you don't get your word right now, just let that ripple flow. Let that ripple flow, it will come. Not today, this week, if not this week, this month, and if not this month, this year for sure. It is already there, and we assume support for the awakening of this new awareness. So in a few moments of silence, we just listen. We move into that quiet mind and listen. The beautiful thing about this rippling forth, rippling out of this pebble within our hearts is that it blesses our lives in every area of our lives, and it also blesses all those around us. So we go forth in this new year, embracing, letting go, taking action, being still, doing what is ours to do. Always assuming support from the universe in which we live, move, and have our being. The universe, that universal energy that surrounds us, that moves in and through us, that is at the center of every atom and cell of our bodies and the space around us. We assume that support. Not making everything perfect, not giving us everything we want, but helping us move through every moment of this year with grace, wisdom, and peace. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Amen. And now take the pencil that you were given, and if you received your word at this time, write it on there. And if you didn't, don't worry about it, it will come. Just make sure when you go home, when your word comes to you, you write it with pencil, because pen's not going to work on this stone. That pencil just soaks right in there, and you can go and put it in a place where you'll see it often, not buried in your sock drawer. And you can, every time you notice it, you can say, okay, God, what do I need to do to cooperate? What do I need to do to cooperate? And as I cooperate, I assume support. Happy New Year.
And as we always do, take a deep breath and set aside anything that you have in your hands. If you will, open your fingers face up and just rest your hands gently in your lap. Again, take another deep breath and move into this presence. The now moment, the clean slate. We sang, give us this day our daily bread. That word manna meant spiritual sustenance that can only be received this day. This day only. The past is filled with experiences, triumphs, and at times even limitations. Recognizing that we don't need those anymore. We can let them drop away. In your open hands can't hold any of these limitations. You have nothing to grasp onto them. You're letting go of all the past experiences. Even what you call limitations once served you. Maybe you use them as protections, shields, but you don't need them now. You have been brought into a new year. And setting aside everything in your hands and moving into this moment. Imagine a golden stream of light energy coming down from above, right into the top of your head, all the way to your heart, where it disperses and fills your body and surrounds you with bright, protective light. Recognize that you are open and receptive already to your intuitive guidance. Everything you need is already provided for you. And now just take a moment to imagine a still body of water, a pond or a lake that has no ripples upon its surface. Into this still mind, at the surface of your mind, your white stone word will be dropped like a pebble and will ripple out during the year. But first there must be stillness. First your mind must reflect the higher mind of God intuition. Notice the sky perfectly reflected upon the surface as your mind becomes quieter, still, reflective of that which is above. And as you are still, you notice that all the way to the very depths, there's clarity. You can look so deeply into the water. Dwell for a moment in the stillness and notice the mirrored reflection on the surface of that which is above the sky, and identify your mind with it. I am now open and receptive to my intuitive guidance. My spiritual nature already knows. And what I bring to this moment is my stillness, my conditioned, willing, quiet mind. So we're going to take our word, if you received a word, and if you don't, you can just say any word you want to. We're going to use it as our offering blessing. So if you don't want anybody to know your word, just kind of mumble it. But we're going to say, I give, let me just see how we can put this. I give in the spirit of blank, and I receive abundantly. So if your word is love, I give in the spirit of love, and I receive abundantly. And if not, just pick a word, okay? So let's say it together. I give in the spirit of, and I receive abundantly. And then silently. And again aloud together. I give in the spirit of, and I receive abundantly. And so it is. Amen.